Stevie Y is up bright and early, and guess what? I am too. I had 2 hours of sleep last night, so I'm going to be feeling very good as we go throughout the entire second day of the draft and make videos on all the Red Wings, Canucks, and Canadiens things that happen. But the Red Wings opened up today with a big splash. They have traded away their third-round pick in this year's draft for Ville Husso of the St. Louis Blues. Now, Husso is a guy that a lot of people were kind of projecting towards potentially being a free agent target heading towards the offseason. The guy does indeed expire after this season. He was on his, $750,000 deal, entry-level numbers. He never really broke out in terms of being able to make that bag, but after the season Ville Husso had with the St. Louis Blues, where he had a .919 in 40 games played, he really did break out in a way that had a lot of Blues fans kind of concerned as to whether or not they were going to be able to keep this guy. He only became a full-time NHL player last year, and he wasn't all too great with an .893 save percentage in 17 games played. But now, as a 27-year-old, you have yourselves a player that all of a sudden was the target of... We had teams like Edmonton in there, Toronto was thrown in there too. It was all a debate as to whether or not he would go to free agency, and those teams would snag him up there. But the Red Wings ended up trading for the signing rights of this player. They give up a third-round pick in this year's draft, and Steve Yzerman makes the signing. 3 years, $4.75 million a season is the contract, and this is indeed a pretty good move in my opinion. Mostly because the Red Wings are not really a team that I feel needs the cap space in the short term. 3 years obviously is not a long time. And you have yourselves a guy in Husso who is only 27. He's older than Nedeljkovic by only a year, I believe. So, the fact that the Red Wings have 2 goaltenders now that are both relatively young and are both relatively cheap when it comes to being quote-unquote starting goaltenders. If you get 40 games out of a guy and you actually trust that player and his services, paying him something in the $4 or $5 million range isn't all too bad in my opinion. So all in all, the Red Wings having themselves 2 goaltenders like this in Husso and Nedeljkovic is a pretty good sign in my opinion. Plus the fact that Husso had a better season than Nedeljkovic, that he actually is starting to break out as a potential full-time NHL goaltender. There's a lot to like here when it comes to the Red Wings and their goaltending for next season. But that is indeed the move. Steve Yzerman makes a trade, third-round pick over to St. Louis for Ville Husso. That Husso was then re-signed to a 3-year, $4.75 AAV contract. And the rest is history. So, talk to me in the comments if you're a Red Wings fan. What do you think about this move? Ville Husso is now going to be the next Red Wings 1A, 1B situation, balancing it out with Alex Nedeljkovic. How do you feel about that if you're a Blues fan? How do you feel about losing out on Husso? You guys still have Binnington, so there is some, I guess, good bearings from that situation. It's just when Binnington was out, you had Husso stepping in the playoffs. He had himself a very good shutout in the first series, but eventually did not do all too well in the preceding games. Thoughts in the comment section below, though. I hope you enjoyed this video. Juraj, and bye.